Hello, George.
Good
How's it
day,
going?
George. How is it going? I think it's going pretty well. We're here to do a webinar, which is great.
We are, and the good news about this webinar is that we've done it before. So apologies to everybody who had to suffer through it the first time when we kind of knew what we're doing. But great news for everybody here today because we actually kind of know what we're talking about. So at least I think so.
We always know what we're talking about, but actually, for anyone who might be coming back to look at this webinar for a second time, we actually have some updates.
People do that?
Some people do. I see some names in chat, people saying hi that I've seen before.
Have you ever watched a webinar twice, George? Come
No,
on.
I haven't. But you know, we have some updates that I think we're going to share as part of this. So if people are tuning in for a second time, I think that will be of interest to them. But we're just seeing the numbers kind of tick up here a little bit. So I think we'll just kind of hang out for a minute or so. Lots of people saying hi in chat, which is great. Anders and Nadia and Tim Trott saying hi. Tim, you guys are on yet another platform. Tim, do you mean Crowdcast? Because this is where we've been doing webinars for over a year now.
Well, he's probably talking about YouTube, which is where we spend a
That's
lot of time
That's
as well.
true.
But Crowdcast has been a great boon for us
Yes.
for webinars. It's got all these great features for us to interact with you. So don't be shy,
Yeah.
everybody.
And yes, please follow us on Crowdcast. And if anyone has any interest in knowing more about Crowdcast, we actually did a show with the founder of Crowdcast quite some time ago. So I would recommend going back and checking that out, where we talk about all things about this platform and why we like it. So check that out. I see Eric saying hello and a few other people saying hello. This is great. Looks like a few more people coming in.
Okay, so let's get on with the show. Today we're here to talk about Epiphan Cloud and multi-device management. And I'm sure everybody here who is on the call knows a little bit about Epiphan Cloud. And George, maybe you can give them some tips on how to make the most out of this webinar stuff.
Yeah. So as George mentioned, we're going to go through all the things about cloud, but to interact with you guys, like as always, feel free to chime in chat. However, with a webinar and in Crowdcast in particular, it's much easier to ask questions of us by using the Q&A panel, which you'll find in Crowdcast, as well as we'll have a number of polls that are published throughout today's webinar, and you can check those out on the polls panel. The best part about the Q&A panel is that there's also an upvote tool as part of it. So Matt has one question in there already. As people ask more questions as we go along, you can use the upvote to kind of prioritize so that when George and I come back to address those questions, we can kind of start from the top on what's the highest voted ranked questions and kind of go down from there. If you ask questions in chat, we may miss them. So try to put them in the Q&A panel if it's a pressing question about Epiphan Cloud and the topic we're going to have today. Again, still a couple more people joining us here, trickling in a little bit. People are a little slower today than usual, but that's okay.
It's almost summertime.
For
Come
sure.
on.
I am too. Look outside. The weather's not that great, so I'm a little sluggish today too.
Yeah.
But what's our agenda?
Okay, let's jump into it. So we're going to start off with an overview of Epiphan Cloud. George is going to walk through a live demo and show you everything you can do there, soup to nuts presentation. We'll interrupt that a little bit with some questions halfway through, and then we'll spend more time on your questions at the end. So George and I have all day if you want to hang out and ask questions at the end. If you do put a question in, we will get to it. I promise you that. As long as it's like a normal human question.
No robot questions.
No robots. Yeah, get lost, robots. So let's jump in and start with the overview. So, George, what is Epiphan Cloud?
So Epiphan Cloud is kind of a unique piece of technology and a special tool available to Epiphan customers, particularly those that are using our Pearl hardware encoders. Essentially, the idea is to have a command center for all of your Epiphan things, your Pearls, your Pearl Nanos, your Pearl Minis, your Pearl 2s, whether you own one or whether you own multiple. The idea is to have a cloud-based configuration portal, monitoring portal, You can remotely access your pearls through the cloud. You can help do real-time alerts for production issues and understanding what's going on with your fleet of devices. And you can also set up, if you have a large fleet or even a smaller fleet of Pearl devices, you can use batch actions to save a ton of time when managing all those devices. And we're going to demonstrate some of that when we go into the live demo and walk you through some of those settings. But needless to say, as things are changing, remote production is ramping up. People are managing a diverse fleet of Pearl devices spread across a campus or across a business and globally. Epiphan Cloud helps you centralize the management and monitoring of all of those devices in one place and being able to share that with a team, which is amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty neat. We're hearing from people already who are using it. And it seems to be a lot of people are using it for places like, imagine you have a school and you want to have devices all over this school, and you don't really want to run around and have to manually update all of this hardware or manually go and look at the recordings on it and double check things. So having this one centralized location, it's pretty obvious efficiencies for anybody who's managing a fleet of devices. That could be in a school situation or in a live event situation where you have a bunch of breakout rooms and you have devices in all these different rooms that you need to manage. Of course, you're going to want to be able to do that centrally. So that's the prime use case for cloud.
Exactly.
We have a little example image here of what this could look like. So this is a space with a bunch of different rooms, and you have many different kinds of hardware in there. We're not just talking about, all the same Pearl 2 system. They could be Pearls of any kind, and they could be LiveScrypt devices as well. And you can manage them all from that same location, that same platform, Epiphan Cloud, and it's really easy. George is going to show you how easy in a minute. You're going to want to quit this demo in the middle of it and be like, I'm out of here. I'm just going to go play with it because it's pretty pretty intuitive. But we'll give you the tour nonetheless.
Yeah.
So let's jump in,
Sure.
George.
Yeah, let's jump into it here.
I think I'm going to have to stop sharing,
I
and
can
you're
bring
going to have to
up
take over here.
my share here. And we're just going to take a look at essentially what the dashboard looks like and how we navigate